Howdy folks, Pockets here, Flatlander channel. This afternoon I'm up under the front end of my Suburban working on this 10 bolt, corporate 10 bolt front axle. I been hearing some crunching, grinding noises from the left front wheel and decided I needed to get up under here and investigate, see what was making all that racket. And inside bearing on this hub went out. I got up under here, pulled the hub off, and a bunch of these little fellers fell out. That ain't supposed to happen. You can see up in here, there's a bunch of metal flakes and powder up in there. So it was, I caught it just in time before everything went all to shit up in here and made a big old mess. All right, so I went up to the auto parts store at town, and they had everything I needed on the shelf there to get this thing back on the road again. We we got the bearing that needed replacing. This is the inner hub bearing. Goes on the inside of the hub, sits on the inside of the spindle towards the knuckle. That's the inner portion of the bearing. Then you got the bearing race that goes. This is the piece that actually goes in the hub. We've got the seal, the hub seal. The outer hub bearing and race, it's all together in this one. Right here is the kit for the seals and the bearing in the back of the spindle. This is a little needle bearing that goes in the back of the spindle and holds the axle shaft. And then there's the seal that goes on the axle shaft and the seal that goes on the back of the spindle to keep water out of the inside of your hub. All of that's in this little kit. Then we got a little tub of grease to pack the bearings. And since they just happen to have these on the shelf, I decided to also pick up a set of worn premium manual locking hubs for the front four-wheel drive. So we're gonna get set up here and swap everything in. All right, folks, we're gonna get started on this replacing these hub bearings and hub lock here on this Suburban. So the first thing that we need to do is get on here and get this wheel off. I don't think I'm quick enough for NASCAR. All right, we'll get that tire and wheel out of the way. Now, next what we need to do is get this brake caliper off here and out of the way. We can't pull the hub assembly off until we get this brake caliper off of the backing plate and to let that loose. So you take whatever the hell size Allen wrench this is, I don't know, the one that fits, and get on here on the back of these bolts and take them loose. Get these off of there. And the caliper will come right off like that. All right. And then you could just take it, lay it up here out of the way somewhere. So we're not going to mess with that until we go to put it back on. Next thing we need to do is take this old automatic hub lock off. Now I'm replacing these automatic hubs with some manual locking ones while I'm here. Now there's nothing wrong with these automatic hubs. They work just fine and I like them, but I don't know exactly how reliable they are and how long they'll last, so I'm going ahead and putting in something that I know is going to work down here. So you got to get some little tiny size Allen wrench. It says it's a 1/8 Allen wrench. Get down here and I don't know if I'll even need this. Get down here and loosen up these 6 screws that hold the cap on. once these screws are off, the cap just comes right off like that. There's a, if you plan to save your hubs, make sure you are careful as you take everything apart. There's a little seal that goes around the outside there that sits in this cap. Take that and set it to the side. Right here is a little clip. I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera, but there's a little clip right here. You pick this clip kind of up and pull it out, and it comes out like that. Once you pull that little clip out, you take your pliers and you get right here under that clip where there's two little pieces or little fingers that come off the snap ring that holds this hub in there, and you squeeze those together and pull the locker out like that. And you can just set that to the side. And now you got to get back in here to the hub retention nuts. Now right up in here, I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera, but up in here there's a snap ring. A pair of snap ring pliers will be your friend. Put them in the little holes there and pull this little snap ring right out off of the center, or off of the main axle, or off the axle shaft. Now, lay that over here to the side. Right under that is a washer that comes out as well. And then you're to the hub nuts. Now there's two hub nuts. There's a main nut that holds the hub on, and then there's a locking nut that goes in front of it, and there's a washer between them. Now those nuts have 4 little notches around the outside, and you have to have a special socket like this one that has these 4 little prongs to go in there and grip that nut. This will make your life a hell of a lot easier trying to do these. Trying to do it without these is extremely difficult, if not impossible, especially if they're stuck good. But what I can do, what this tool lets me do, is I just slide it up in here and line it up with the slots on the nut, put my little impact on, out she comes. So there's the outer lock nut, and back in here is that washer. Get it to come out. It's got a bunch of little holes in it, which actually lets you grab it with the snap ring pliers and pull it right out of there. There's that washer, comes out behind that lock nut, and then there is the main retention nut. And you get this in here and line it up with the slots on the second nut. Out she comes. Now this nut, the way you tell this nut apart from the other nut is that this nut has 6 slots. Not really sure why, but if you can see right there, it's got 6 instead of just 4. So that's the back nut. And now the hub should come off. Like that. Whoop. And there's that bearing in there. That will fall right out and get grease all over your damn pants. And we'll drop that back down in there. Now then, we've got the hub off. Now we got to take the spindle off. This holding the spindle is bolted on behind this backing plate using these 6 bolts or nuts. There's 6 studs in the knuckle, coming out of the knuckle, that the spindle and backing plate attached to, and they come off with a 9/16 socket. Not with that. We'll use this to break them loose. Provided I can turn it the right way. Shit. Well, this is what you call a shitty ratchet, folks. Now I gotta go figure something else out. Be right back. Alright, I got something better here. Find me a little adapter to put it on my 1/2-inch impact gun. We'll get these things off right quick. All right. We'll get these nuts here off. Set them over here to the side and pull the backing plate off. Lay it over here out of the way. Now everything's loose. The spindle should also come off pretty easy. You might have to tap on it a little bit. The other one came off real easy. Of course, this one ain't going to because the other one did. I didn't video it. All right, we got the spindle off, and looks like somebody's been back behind this messing around with it at one time or one point or another, because there is a whole bunch of silicone on it for some reason. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to silicone the spindle onto the knuckle, because you're not going to seal up shit, because the seal is actually to the spindle itself and not the knuckle. So that was kind of a dumb idea. Anyhow, watch stuff that comes off when you're taking the spindle off. There's this little rubber seal, which is in the kit that we have over on the table, and you don't need to worry about it. But what is important to grab is this little plastic fiber, whatever the hell it is, washer that goes back here to keep the axle and spindle from rubbing on each other metal to metal. So save that, and then you can pull this little seal off of the end of the axle shaft here, because that's also included in the kit. So now we're going to take the spindle and our hub that's sitting over here. We're going to go over to the table. We're going to grease up our new bearings and install them and put our new seals. Come bolt everything back together, and she'll be ready to hit the road.